Well, Coach Allen, first of all, I got to say thank you for your time. Happy Thanksgiving. I know you're full of turkey and stuffing and all the trimmings, as they say, but we just talked a few minutes ago. You said, hey, this time of the year, a lot of teams' goals are big, but one of the big ones is to practice on Thanksgiving. Just talk about how big that is to get to this point.
Well, it's like we told our kids, it's such an honor and a blessing to be able to practice on Thanksgiving morning. It's, like easily it's one of my favorite times a year to practice is on Thanksgiving morning. And, not being able to practice last year at this time, it makes it mean even a little more this year that we are able to practice on Thanksgiving and just talk to the guys about the opportunity that we have and how, there are a lot of people right now that don't have this opportunity that would love to have this and not to take it for advantage and to embrace and enjoy it and know how it feels and to keep working hard so we can continue to practice.
And the biggest thing, obviously, you're playing a team you're very familiar with. Stop me if you heard this before. Galax, George Wythe. It seems like you guys are beating regular season playoff times, but this is the sixth playoff meeting, but you guys have won the previous five, and as of late, you guys have controlled the series, but they've all been competitive games. Just talk about matching up again with a team you're very familiar with, a district rival, a regional rival, and George Wythe.
Well, when you play somebody you're very familiar with, it gets to a point where they know what you're going to do, you know what they're going to do. It's trying to come up with some few wrinkles here and there. But at at the end of the day, since we know each other so well, it's which team executes the best and comes out and plays the hardest is usually going to win. I've told our kids all week that it's going to be a 4-quarter war. It's probably going to come down to who has the ball last, who gets a defensive stop or an offensive play there at the end of the game is going to be probably the team that wins it. So I've expressed that to our guys how important it is about tackling and physicality and special teams, because that's when you get two great teams. I think that's what separates the winners and the losers is the team that goes out and executes physically and tackles and makes plays on special teams. So that's what we've tried to emphasize that all week this week.
And the biggest thing is I remember we talked at the beginning of the year for our media day stuff. You always play a strong regular season schedule, but the big pictures to get to this point, and I know probably people look at it and say, well, gosh, you're taking your lumps early, but it'll pay off in the end. You feel obviously this has paid off when you guys have played such a strong schedule, but it's paid off for you right now.
Yeah, I mean, you want to find where you need to make changes and fix a lot of things early in the season. You don't want to go out and go 10-0 and not have been stressed or had to compete for 4 quarters and then go out in the playoffs and then you find your mistakes because that's when it's too late to fix them then. Now, if you go early in the season, these kids are ready to play at a high level. These kids aren't. It gives us an opportunity to evaluate ourselves. What as players we need to fix, as coaches we need to do better. And I think it gets you prepared to play the tough teams in the playoffs because once you get to this level, second and third round of the playoffs and beyond, there's no bad teams left. So, you got to go out and you got to play hard and you got to know where your weaknesses are and where your strengths are at. And you don't learn those unless you play a tough schedule that's going to test you.
And one big thing I just noticed, just kind of picked up from what you said earlier, the fact it hurt you guys a lot not to be in this situation last year. Talk about, it just seems like it's a redemption to get back to where Galax is used to playing for a regional championship and going deep in the playoffs. And it seems like it's more of a redemption than anything else.
Yeah, I think it's just our guys got to understand, you're never guaranteed this opportunity. I think last year, somewhat, we just, maybe as a coaching staff and as a team, we just expected to be there. And, it was a reality check that we weren't. So, I really stressed our guys, this week, especially this week, I said, it's never guaranteed. I use Riley Joe Vault, who, coaches for me now, who played for me for 4 years. He played in a state championship every year except his senior year. And, if you play in a state championship your freshman, sophomore, and junior year, you almost expect to play it again as a senior. And I emphasize that for our guys to understand it's not given. You never know, this could be even if you're a freshman or sophomore getting to play in this game, this may be the last time you get here unless, you work hard and you get lucky in some aspects of it. So for our guys to understand that it's not given and to take it for what it's worth, and to know that you're going to have to pay rent every day to get back to this spot.
And obviously we talk about familiarity again between you guys, between Galax and George with Maroon Tide Maroons, a whole lot of connections there. But like I said, you see this team, they know you, you know them. But what's one thing you feel like they've done differently maybe this year that they haven't done in previous years?
I think he's done Coach Horner's done a heck of a job this year. He's lost some players to some injuries, and then returning back from, had some guys returning back from playing a state championship team last year, and they've lost some kids from injuries, and they haven't missed a beat. So when you go play them, they're going to be they're really dynamic offensively. They're able to put up points at high rates. Defensively, they're sound. They're very fundamentally sound. They're physical. They're going to stop the run. They're going to make you throw the football. And I think he's done a really great job this year offensively, being a little more creative and making it tougher formation wise, and some things he's doing makes it a little bit tougher to defend him than it has in years past. So, I know when we get those guys, it's going to be, I know Coach Horner personally is one of my best friends. And, I know he does a wonderful job over there. And I tell our guys all the time, they're be prepared. They're going to come out in something we haven't seen prepared for. We're going to have to adjust, and we're going to do the same thing to them. So we know it's just going to be just trying to see who can get the last one in and make a play at the end to win the game.
And I mentioned before, you guys have kind of controlled the series. I mean, they won a little bit there, but for overall, you guys have maintained control. But what has been the secret sauce? I mean, because even though you guys have won, a lot of these games recently, you guys have, it hasn't been easy. I mean, trust me, we've covered these games. It's probably one of the great rivalries and the great matchups. Every year we see George Wythe and Galax. We know what we're going to get. But what has been the secret sauce for you guys kind of winning the series as of late?
I don't know if there's so much a secret sauce as there is just, I think just guys having opportunities and making plays. We've been blessed with some very, very good players, and they tend to make big plays in big games. Like last week, AJ Austin Ashworth and Teacher Tucker, both huge games in a big rivalry game. So we've been blessed, and I think our guys understand that. Don't wait for somebody else to make the play. You go out and make the play when you get opportunities.
And then my final question, Coach. I mean, this region. the district was, but then this region has. I mean, you could have made a case for any of these teams, and I know this is the last game in this region, but just for people who probably don't understand, just the competitiveness, because there were so many good teams, so many teams that made runs. In fact, right, I mean, the top two seeds are out. I mean, you guys are the third seed and the 5 seed in the region, but you could have made a case for anyone to be in this role. Just for people who don't know, understand, just talk about just how tough this region is and just how competitive is Region 1C.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like our region and our district is so competitive. I mean, I think, playing our tough schedule out of district and then having to go back into our district and play, Grayson County and Giles and Fort Chisholm and George Wythe in our district alone, and then turn around and getting, Narrows thrown in there when you get into the region, Bath and those teams like that. It's just, I think you're battle tested and ready when you come out of our region to play, the Region D team and to try and go play for a state championship.
Well, Coach Allen, thank you so much for waking up as the Rooster Crows or all that.
Oh, yeah.
Good luck, and tomorrow there's gonna be a fun game, and like I said, we say before, a team with maroon in the title is gonna probably win this thing, Maroons or Maroon Tide.
Oh, yes, yes.